Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. Really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is week 41, which encompasses dates from October 6th through October 12th and all my reading shenanigans in between. I did not do a week 40 weekly wrap up because I did not finish anything week 40. I read stuff, I just didn't finish anything. Everything that I finished in week 41 and read in 41, I actually started in week 40. So that's why you do not have a week 40 weekly wrap up. It was not because I was lazy and didn't film it. You wouldn't have got one anyway because I didn't read shit. So, yeah, but it's kind of like a dual wrap up, but it's not, because I finished all these things in week 41. So if you'd like to find out what was entertaining me at that point in time and what I was completing, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, so the first book I completed, started in week 40, finished in week 41, was Through the Mist by Lindsay Jane Ashford, and it looks like this. I got this on Audible. I listened to this on Audible, and it was done by Candace Mole. I don't really know how you say her last name. Really good audiobook. Had no issues with the audiobook, but I was looking for something just a little different. I didn't want dark romance. I didn't want, P and the V. I just wanted something different. I wanted a different vibe. And every once in a while, you need to read different vibe books to kind of pull you out of funks. I felt myself going into one, so I tried to pull myself back by reading something seasonal, but yet and farther enough away from my normal stuff to really kind of set me off. And I was thoroughly surprised with this book. Thoroughly surprised with it. For starters, let me make sure I got my rating on this. I forgot what I rated it. Yeah, I gave this a 4 star, which kind of threw me for a loop because I thought it was just going to be a mystery thriller. It's actually a mystery thriller with historical fiction involved. We do have some triggers, so it's even got some darkness in it. We have drug use, death of a parent. We do have a fade to black scene, and we feature occult worship. Did not see any of that coming when I read the synopsis of this book on Audible. Okay, didn't see that at all. And yeah, but I had a really good time with it. So, quick little summary about this book. We follow Ellen and Tony Wilde. They are newlyweds that have purchased a cottage that has a very, very dark history to it. And it's even darker entanglements with Tony, the husband, in our story. But we learn that piecemeal throughout, but he is tied to this cottage. And it has some dark stuff going down in it. We also follow another character, Iris. Iris runs away from home, avoiding an unwanted marriage. And she runs to the town where her mother is from. And in the process of running away and trying to figure out what she really wants, she answers questions about her deceased mother that have bothered her for years, except these answers are not what she was expecting. You see, her mother died on the moors, and it was very odd how she died. And so Iris has always had strange questions about it. She was never really given any information as a child. So she's always been curious. So she runs back to where her mother died, where her mother was from. And we get some very interesting questions answered. Now, these answerings of these questions on Iris's side also tie her back to Ellen, because Ellen learns of the history of this cottage through meeting people, through hearsay, through town gossip. So as she's trying to figure out how her husband is connected to this cottage, Iris is trying to figure out how her mother died. And then we learn that they are all connected in this really weird spiderwebby kind of cosmos, historical fiction, art, clan, occult worship thing. It's insane. If you're hearing that beep, that's my husband's diabetes monitor. He decided to not take it when he left. So I'm sorry if you hear that. Sorry. It's going to ping for a while. So a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of fun stuff in this book. A lot of fun stuff. But what worked? What worked? The world building. I fucking loved the world building in this. It was so good. I was engaged in this. Every time I put the audiobook on, I just got lost. I got lost in the description of the Moors. I got lost in the description of the relationship. I loved the world that this woman built. And just the way she layered everything was awesome. So cool. So fucking badass. I loved it. Her world building was spot on point. I love the representation of women in this book. Really had a good time with that. Was not expecting to see that. But you have to understand the characters that we have. So we have Ellen and Tony. Ellen is a toy maker. She carves toys out of wood, has her own business. Okay? This is, I want to say it's post-World War II, because they keep referencing the war, but they don't actually specify which, I don't remember them specifying which war. I think it was World War II, though. Pretty sure it was World War II, because they were referencing bombings. And a lot of history being destroyed by bombings, so I want to say it was World War II. But anyway, she is a toy maker, and she has her own business, okay? Love that. Love that. Her husband, she married him, and he's like a stay-at-home husband, so he can just develop his art career. He wanted to move to this cottage because that's where his center, his muse was. This world, this cottage was like was inspiration to him, and she wanted him to flourish in his artwork. So she financed everything. And then there's one scene in this book which I thought was hilarious. She can't go rent the building for her business without her husband's signature. Even though she's paying for everything, they need to have his signature on it because women aren't allowed to own property. But she's paying for everything. So I thought this was really cool. This was a really cool angle of this story that I was not expecting to see in the story at all. I was so happy about this. Just seeing the strength of our female characters and the positions that they were put in. So we have Ellen as a toy maker running her own business. Iris fled her home because she didn't want to marry this guy and seeks out her own. She's only like 19 and she does it all on her own. She gets her own job and she wants to be an artist herself. She enrolls herself in art school, and one of the art teachers is actually a famous female sculptor, which one of Iris's friends is working for. So there's this nice artist type community in this little realm that they're at, and it is fantastic. Just all of the female empowerment in this story is amazing, but yet at the same time, they are the ones that have to find all the information. Apparently, all the men know all the information. The women don't. And they have to constantly dig and try to fight to get the information, get the secrets out. But it was so well done how this like women's representation was laced and how they overcame adversity in this story. Even the characters that passed. Iris's mother, she was on her way to evict a tenant when she died. She was a landlady. What? Yeah, like it was crazy. I liked it. Had a really good time with that. I really liked the interweaving and the interwebbing of these tie-ins and how all these people are tied together. I did not see a lot of these ties coming. Once I got introduced to the main kind of protagonist style character, who's actually not even in the story anymore, Aleister Crowley. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. If that doesn't ring a bell, it kind of leads you down. Like, once you figure out that name, you're like, oh, whole lot more stuff is making sense now. But once you figure out his name, I really enjoyed just how everything layered on top of him, but yet it came back to all this other stuff. Oh my God, I hate that monitor. Sorry, if you hear that, I'm really sorry. So I really enjoyed all this layering and everything. I just thought it was so well done because it kept me so engaged. Once I learned one piece of information on Ellen's side, then I learned a piece on Iris's side. But Iris's piece and Ellen's piece didn't really meet up. I knew they were pieces of the same puzzle, but one was on one side and one was on the other. And I couldn't find the bridge pieces until our characters meet and they start working together. But they're working together, not even realizing they're working together, because they have Iris's pieces, Ellen has pieces, but they don't realize that their pieces actually connect. And so they're working. It was just so well done. This puzzle that our author created was fantastic. I loved the layering in it. Really, really well done. Had a great fucking time with that. I liked the historical references in this book. So at the end of this book, there's an author's note where she talks about how she got her inspiration for a lot of these characters. A lot of these characters are based off of real people. The Crowley cottage, the cottage that Tony and Ellen Wilde move into, it's a real cottage with a real ghost story. She took that and just expounded on it with this story. And a lot of our main characters are based off of real artists that lived in this village, lived around this cottage, were rumored to have been involved with Aleister Crowley during his days. I thought that was fucking dope. I was just like, what? I thought this was all fiction. Except for the name Aleister Crowley. I've heard that name before. And I was like, okay, maybe just a famous name to drop in there. But when she started reading this author's note and started saying who was representative of who and what artist was representative of art and pieces, I was like, what? I looked up some of this stuff. It was so freaking cool. I love a book that will show me new things that I can research and new stories I can learn. This is a real fucking ghost story. Are you shitting me? That's amazing. I had such a good time with that. That was one of the best parts of this book, was that surprise for me at the end. I was just like, yes, absolutely. Sign me up for another one of her books because this was dope. Unfortunately, there was a few things that didn't work because it didn't get 5 stars. I feel like the drops in this book did not lend to the audiobook. I feel, although the audiobook's performer did a really, really great job. Don't get me wrong, she did a great job. I really kind of wish I'd physically read this book. I feel like this book needed to be read under a blanket during a storm, physically turning the pages, feeling the shivers. I missed the experience with this book. I feel like this book is one of those experience books, and if you don't have the right experience, it's not going to sit 100% well, because there was areas of the book where I was just like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Because I wasn't invested. I wasn't intrigued enough. I wasn't absorbed into it. And I feel like if I was physically reading it, I would have to be, because there's no other way of getting through the book. And I kind of regret that I did not physically read this book. So I plan on picking up this author again, for sure. Plan on picking her up again, but definitely going to be physically reading her. As for a spice rating, there's like two fade to black scenes. There's some innuendo. There is some sexualized drug use. There's some orgy illusions. A lot of illusions in this book. Not a lot of actual like wham bam thank you ma'am. And when we do, it's fade to black. So I only gave this a 1.5 on the Chili Pepper scale. This is not a romance book. It's not. Don't read this book for the romance, because the romance really isn't anything. You spend most of this book actually hating the male love interest. And the other male love interest, well, there was one scene. There was a line. And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely. And then it went fade to black. And I was like, oh. Well, that was depressing. The book could have been a little hotter. It had the makings of being a little spooky and steamy at the same time, but it just didn't have that follow through with it. But that's okay. All in all, 4 stars. Definitely plan on picking up this author again. That stupid thing. I'm sorry if you hear that again. The next book I finished was Aaron Sterling's The Kiss Curse. This is the second installment to the X-Hex. And I believe that's actually the series name. There is a third installment coming out this year. I think it comes out in November. I'm pretty sure it does, if it's not already out. However, I do not believe you need to read the X-Hex to understand this book. However, it would make more sense if you did. You do not have to. What you need to know gets explained, but if you read the X-Hex, you will appreciate those scenes and the relationship that our female character has with the previous couple, because that's the tie-in. So you don't have to, but I do recommend that you do, just to give yourself the best experience for this book, because this was a fun one. I gave this book, what did I give this book? 3.5. I believe I gave the X-Hex only 3. So, woo, there we go. It is a cozy rom-com, so if that's what you're looking for, a nice little spooky cozy rom-com for the Halloween season, definitely right up your alley. It is enemies to lovers with a grumpy sunshine trope, and we feature witches. So if you're looking for witches, here you go. Male and female both. Yeah. So we have a summary of Gwyn and Vivi. Vivi is from X-Hex. Gwyn is Vivi's cousin, who you see in X-Hex, and she's a local witch shop owner, a very cozy cottage around the corner, kitschy witch store. But after the events in the first novel, Gwyn finally gets used to Reese, who is our male love interest in the first novel, and they have a very bantering relationship, okay? But Reese's brother Wells moves into town. And Wells and Gwyn do not get along because Wells did not come to said wedding. So she thinks he's a jackass. She isn't wrong. At all. All right. Wells decides to open a rival magic shop right across the fucking street. Okay? Right across the street. No, this is not a You Got Mail retelling, okay? I know I just read one of those earlier. It's not. Ironically, I did not realize this is how it was working, so I read this right after that one. So that was fun. But one day, Gwyn is waiting on a customer, and she says that she's purchased something from Wells' store, and she finds out that it's actually a real magic item, actually has magic in it. And there is an unwritten rule that you do not sell magic items to non-magic people. This is a human wearing this pendant. Now, granted, it's a very minor thing. It's nothing super dangerous. It's just kind of a calming thing. But she's like, yes, I finally get a chance, because now that he's opened the store, they have this bickering back and forth. They don't really like each other. He walked in on her throwing a bachelorette party in his fucking house because Reese said he could. So he walked into a bunch of chicks with penis helmets, penis hats, and penis straws all over the place. So that was his first introduction to Gwyn. Yeah. Great first impression. And Gwyn was just basically like, what the fuck are you doing here? And get fucked. So, I have permission from Reese. Deuces. Yeah, so she takes this as a chance to like really one-up this guy. Now, since the business is open, they've been back and forth. Very playful banter, but this is bothersome to her. She's like, absolutely not. We don't do this. Where did you get this? And Wells is shocked beyond all belief. He's like, there's no way. I document everything. So he finds the box that the item came from. And there's a moment against a shelf. Some dust falls on them. And the tension, ladies and gentlemen, the tension leads to a very nicely done, well-read, very hot against the wall kiss. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Abruptly ended. Annoying. But that is where our story kicks off. And after that, we have this back and forth. Is it a love spell that fell on them, or is it real? However, Gwen's magic is acting up, and we don't know why. And it starts acting up at that moment. She doesn't understand it. And it's up to her and Wells to figure it out. Well, Wells doesn't know, but he has a bigger hand in it than he thinks. So, what worked? The original plot, I loved it. I love the warring magic shops. I think I like that trope. And you have this very prim, proper, upper scale witchy shop next to this like kitschy witchy shop that sells plastic pumpkins. I think it's fucking adorable. Okay? I think it's adorable. I loved it. I love that I got to see Reese and Vivian more. Okay, so when I read XX, I remember clearly saying that nothing really stuck with me until I reminded myself of it. When I read this book, it all came flooding back to me. Reese and Viv, and I was like, that's awesome. I love that I get to see them, and you get to see them quite a bit, which was really nice. The chemistry between Gwen and Wells, loved it. Prim and proper versus headstrong and dramatic. Absolutely. That's a combo I can get behind. That combo's fucking great. That's a lot of, I'm not a big, huge rom-com movie fan, but that's a lot of the rom-coms that I do like. That's their stereotypical thing. You have two polar opposites butting heads, and then they all just kind of magically work together. I think that's great. I thought it was great. The banter between multiple characters' relationship. We don't just get banter between Wells and Gwen. Fantastic in its own right, but we also get Gwen with some of her baby witches that she's kind of instructing and schooling. We get Gwen with Reese, the cousin-in-law, and Reese is just, loved it. And then you get Vivi and Gwen, their banter, it doesn't stop. Even though she's married to Reese, she still sides with her girl, like, all the fucking time. I thought that was great. Loved it. This one has an animal companion, which we met in the first book, who learned to talk, and Gwen has continued to make it talk, and now it can say other words, and it's very, very snarky and very, very mean to the guys. He thinks Wells is a dick. He calls Reese, I think he calls Reese a dick, actually. I'm pretty sure he does. But that was great. I loved Percival. I loved him. I could have a whole book on just Percival and his little interactions. That was great. A talking cat. Fantastic. I enjoyed the progression of their relationship. It was smooth. It wasn't forced. Even after that first kiss, it's just like, no, we can't do this. But then they can't stay away from each other, but it's not like, oh my God, we can't acknowledge this. It's just like, no, I don't fucking want this. Neither one of us want this. Why the fuck are we doing this? It's more of laughing at their own stupidity because it's right in front of them. They both realize it's right in front of them, but they're both denying it. And so it was very comical the way it was done. It wasn't annoying. It wasn't overdone. It was nice. I just enjoyed it. And I like the cozy environment of the story. I thought that was great. I love the coziness of the story. It was very, very well done. Loved it. Had a great time with this one. Very much a good time. Read it in like 2 sittings. However, especially like this book, there was something in it that didn't work, and that was the twist on top of the original plot. So we have the original plot, okay? We find out that Wells has to do with more of her magic glitching than we are aware, that he's even aware. Okay, makes total fucking sense. That was fine. And then she goes and throws another glitch on top of that. And that felt really rushed and really forced. And I was just like, we didn't need this. Like, at all. I did not need this. This was not necessary. So, I kind of wish it hadn't been there. But it is what it is. It sunk it down a little bit because the book didn't need that part. It didn't need the damsel in distress moment that it caused. Because it just fucking didn't. It just didn't. It was not necessary. The original plot was great. The original issue was fantastic. It didn't need it. But that was really the only thing that didn't really work in this book. And for a spice rating, I gave this 2 stars. It had some graphic language, which was nice. And we had some very interesting locations. Bed of a truck. I'm a Midwestern girl at heart, okay? I'm a Midwestern girl. Lookout point, back of a truck. Fuck yes, motherfucker. Absolutely. Sign me the fuck up. Just make sure it's fall because all the bugs need to die first. Fucking bugs. Gross. I loved that we got oral sex on a female. I always like oral sex on a female scenes. I think that's great, especially the way Wells was doing it. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Kudos, dude. And we did get some dirty talk from Wells. Yeah. It was nice. It was good. It was good times. Lots of innuendo in this book. Lots of innuendo. And I like a good flirtatious innuendo. I love that. And Gwen and Wells had that down. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That was fantastic. Loved that. Loved it. Their banter was, mwah, chef's kiss, fantastic. Had a really good time with this one. 2 stars on the chili pepper rating, or 2 chili peppers, and 3.5 stars on the whole rating. And I do plan on picking up the 3rd one when it does come out because I had a good time with this one. Definitely. And I think the 3rd one's actually kind of like a Christmas themed one, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's actually kind of, it's green. I know that. So maybe I'm just hopeful. I don't know. But it was good. Had a good time with it. My 3rd book that I completed in week 41, I was going to do a special project with this. I was going to do a reading vlog of this whole series because this is a super popular series on TikTok. It's one of those spicy talk, book talk, spicy books. And as I was reading it, I was like, no. I already do a vlog series, an author that writes smutty books. I don't need to do it on this one, and I'm really glad I didn't. So this is Ghost by Kat Blackthorne. I gave this a 3. Yeah, 3 star. So not the worst book in the world. In the middle for me. But there was a lot. Okay? There's a lot. So let's just get into it. This is the first installment to the Halloween Boys series, and I read this on my Kindle. You get the entire series on KU. It is a reverse harem, which I don't know why I wasn't aware of that. But for some reason, I did not think the series was reverse harem. But it is. Or at least it's being written to be one, but I don't know if it's actually making up its mind to be one. It's weird. We do have some religious imagery, which I do enjoy. I love a spooky setting with religious iconography. I like that blend, that mix, that light, that dark. I like that. I don't know if that's just my Catholic school rebellious thing going on, but I really like the imagery when you use religious iconography with spooky shit. I like it. Okay? I do. So do a lot of other fucking people. I'm not an oddball for that. A lot of fucking people like that shit. There is graphic sexual content. Oh God, there is. Monster smut. This is monster smut. And if you want to touch her and die, hero, Ghost is your man, okay? So we follow Blythe. What the fuck kind of name is that? For one, what? Sorry, I don't like that name. I don't. Personal preference. If it's yours, I'm sorry. In this book, it sucked. She needed a different name. Anyway, she stumbles into the town called Ash Grove while running away from her abusive stepfather. All right, and she is under the impression that she has killed him. That's the impression she's under. But he keeps finding her, so she keeps running. So she thinks she's being chased by a ghost. We encounter Ames Cove. He is a psychologist with a very, very dark and long-standing evil secret. Okay? Ames gets his best friends, Wolfgang, Onks, and Judas, on the hunt surrounding his latest obsession, which happens to be Blythe, who stumbles into his psychology office when her therapist cannot see her due to a scheduling conflict and she's having like an attack. And he finds her and he thinks she's perfect. He thinks, I've got one. So he gathers his buddies and says, I've got the perfect girl. Perfect girl. okay? At this moment, I think they're going to kill her. I believe that's what you're supposed to think. You quickly learn that that's not the case. You quickly learn, and through a tangled web of who and what is good versus what is real and what souls are saved and evil forces, we get a story that I was not expecting. We get a reverse harem that I was not prepared for. And we get some weird fucking sex scenes. So, here we go. What worked? I liked the original premise of this book. Okay? When I said, this is the idea, when I thought, okay, they've got a victim. They're going to chase her. They're going to hunt her. We got some primal going on here because I love a good primal book. Okay, guys? I love it. That's just like a thing of mine. I thought I was going to get it. No, I don't. I get a Dexter-style twist, and I fucking love that show. So the bad guys are doing good shit in bad ways, and I fucking love that. I loved that. I was down for that. I was like, oh, you're gonna give me 4 fucking Dexters that are paranormal and hot? Fuck yes. Sign me the fuck up. I'm gonna love this shit. Yes. Love that. Okay, I loved the religious imagery that was used in this book. I loved it. It was peppered through. It wasn't blatant, minus him living in a church. Minus him living in the church. But the description of the church, some of the scenes within the church, some of the words that were used in the church, loved. Absolutely loved. My dark little heart and soul was just like, yes, you're my bitch. This is great. Yes, I love this. Oh my God. That was amazing. That was chef's kiss in this book. Oh, I love the setting and some of the scenes in this book because of that religious iconography. She really nailed that one. Absolutely fucking nailed that. That was fantastic. I loved not only the sex scenes in this book, but the intimacy written around the sex scenes. The inner monologues of our characters and what was going through their heads. This is a multiple POV book. This is primarily Ghost and Blythe, but we also got Ghost, Blythe, and Ames. So we get all these different personalities of our characters, okay? I loved this. I love the intimacy from Ghost's perspective and the intimacy from Ames' perspective and the intimacy from Blythe's perspective. I fucking ate this shit up. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it more than the actual carnality of the scenes because it just gave it so much meaning and so much buildup. And that one church scene, fuck me, God, it was great. Oh my God. Dude. What? Shut the fuck up. Yes. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. Yeah. I loved this fact about the reverse harem, okay? I'm not a big reverse harem fan. Most people know that I'm not a big reverse harem fan. I tend to get annoyed because there's like a formula, okay? There's always a formula. And this book followed the fucking formula. However, in this book, there is a constant reminder of her belonging to one only and sharing is not welcomed, okay? There's a constant reference that she is mine, she's not yours, shut the fuck up, which lends to this, is this a reverse harem or was it written as a reverse harem and then she decided to change her mind mid-book? Like, what are we going with here? I definitely enjoyed that because it did follow the formula for reverse harem, but it also poked fun at it. At the same time, it's like, no, I'm not sharing, but I will fuck her in front of you and you can do whatever the fuck you want while you watch. Like, there's a lot of voyeuristic stuff in this book. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you like to be watched, if you like to watch, that's a kink you're down with, sign me the fuck up. This is great. This is awesome. Okay, yeah, that church scene, guys. read this book for that fucking scene, all right? Absolutely. So I enjoyed the poking fun at that. Now, unfortunately, there was some stuff in this book that didn't work, and what didn't work was pretty fucking strong. As much as I liked the elements of this book, there was a lot of stuff that just irked me. First off, unanswered questions. Now, this is the start of a quartet. There are 4 books. So some of these questions probably will get answered, but I don't see why they couldn't be answered, because they were directly asked. And it wasn't like the answer was like eluded from them. The answer was given, just didn't make fucking sense. Or they just didn't give an answer, period. Like, did the Halloween boys actually fucking do it? Did they? Because the scenario you gave me makes it look like they didn't. So why does everybody think they did it? Why? Are they scapegoats? Like, what? What's going on? What actually fucking happened all those years ago? Like, you gave me a backstory, but you didn't answer any of the fucking questions of who, what, where, when, how, or why is everyone so fucking scared of them? Because of what we saw of them, they're not fucking scary. I mean, they are, but not scary to the souls. The souls aren't scared of them. They're not going to do anything to them. They're not going to do anything to them. They protect them. So why are they so fucking scared of them? Explain this. Unanswered questions. With like no idea of comprehension. So they're just laying there, just like in the wind. Awesome. Speaking of why is people so scared of them, there's a lot of talk of how evil these 4 guys are, and we don't see a lot of it. When I think of evil, I think of actions being done without care of consequences. I think of actions being done for the sole purpose that you want to do it. It does not matter what the other person feels like. I did not see anything like that. I saw defense of someone you care about. I saw attacking paranormal creatures that don't belong in your fucking world. I saw defense of souls that you care about. I saw saving of people. I saw care. I didn't see fucking evil. Okay, so you have a Dexter-style twist. Dexter wasn't the bad guy. Did you not watch the fucking show? Don't tell me how fucking evil these people are. And it wasn't just the characters. Like, I can understand like a self-loathing thing for the characters, but it was the entire town's like, oh my God, the Halloween boys, stay away from them. They're evil. I'm sorry, what? No, they're not. They're fucking protecting your ass. Get fucked. Like, it was dumb. Which led me to, like, I kind of wanted them just to be the bad guys. I just wanted to be bad guys. And they weren't. They were manipulated. I'm like, really? They were good guys. They got manipulated. Oh, poor baby. Can't they just be fucking assholes that happen to get over it? Hold on, there's a knock on my door. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a guest situation. So anyway, like I was saying, why can't they just be the fucking bad guys? Why can't they just be the bad guys? Like, why is it gotta be something else other than they just want to be fucking dicks? And they're changing now. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just really wanted to be the fucking bad guys. Like I said, I'm not a big reverse harem chick, okay? I'm not. And I understand this. Because of that formula, it's kind of repetitive. And I liked the fact that they constantly reminded the fact that it's like, hey, you can't share. Except there's this claiming thing that our guys do. And this forcing the claiming, making it almost mandatory that there's an individual, it took some of that humor out. And I'm just like, so you've been claimed. So now it is only him, but it's not only him. Make up your fucking mind. Make up your goddamn mind. because you haven't given me any other girl to work with. And if you read the synopsis of the next book, it's clear that there's not going to be another fucking girl. So make up your fucking mind. Is it one and they share? Is it one and he fucks her while they all watch? Or is it all of them? You just haven't gotten to the other ones yet. Like, that's annoying. That's just annoying to me. And so the other thing that's really didn't work in this book was something I look forward to is first time scenes. Our heroine is a virgin. Okay, she's a virgin. And her first time is with a demon on a gravestone. Right. I understand it's fiction. I understand it's paranormal. But are you fucking kidding me? What? Really? Okay. If the description actually was what I saw, this bitch would not be living after this. This would be a one and done and she's now dead. She would be dead. She would not be calling off work tomorrow. She would not be sleeping in. She'd be fucking dead. Dead. Dead by dick. That is what she would be. That scene pissed me off because I understand that it's paranormal, it's fiction, but goddamn. Really? You could have worked up to that. Like, I don't care later on, but you could have worked up to it because there was nothing. It was just, let's fucking go to town, motherfucker. What? No. I was in pain when I read that scene. I was just in pain. I was not turned on. It was not the good kind of pain. It was not the super sexy pain. That was, fuck, I don't want to ever leave my bed pain. Ever. No, it was not pleasant. Speaking of sex scenes, we do have a spice ring in this one. It does get 4 chili peppers. This one's a spicy one. TikTok didn't lie about that. We do have some representation of MM with some blood play involved. That was dope. That was awesome. Yeah. With some voyeurism thrown in on that one. We have some soft bondage with some ghost ropes. So, invisible ropes, which is always kind of cool. Except when I was reading that scene, I kept imagining Scary Movie. Scary Movie where the invisible ghosty is fucking her against the wall. That's what I kept imagining. So I giggled, and then the sex scene happened, and I was like, never mind, fuck that. And now this is unbelievable. I can't handle this. We got Monster Smut, and a common thing in Monster Smut lately is body adjusting for accommodation. Like, he can magically make your body adjust, which is the only way that fucking first scene happened, by the way. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that's kind of dumb. I don't know why. I just feel like that's weird. That's a weird thing. And there was some lines that the dirty talk, it was there. It was beautiful. And others, yeah, it felt like porn and not the good kind of porn. Like the shitty basement level porn. Like bad. Oh, I have a package for you. Like that was that level of stupid. It was the stupid dirty talk. It was not the hot sexy one. It was dumb. It was dumb. Line in particular. Demon Daddy. I'm all for Daddy. I love it. But when you say take some Demon Daddy no. That is not a triple D that I ever want to fucking hear or see again. Ever. And I have triple Ds all day long. So, no. No. That was stupid. That was just dumb. So after I read this book, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do a vlog of this and be reading this entire series because it's going to be a hot minute before I read the next one. Just a heads up, it's going to be a hot minute because I'm not a big reverse harem girl, okay? Not. I still, even after this series, even after this book, I'm not. But I did give it a 3-star. If you're looking for smut, here you go. There's some hot scenes, especially that church scene. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good fucking scene. And the 4th book I started, but I haven't finished yet, is Adam by Jacqueline Frank. It looks like this, and it's an audiobook. I read all the previous books in this series for the Nightwalker read-along that I did with Becky over Beck X Reads and Kalani at Kalani Simply Me. We were reading all this series, and I didn't get to this one. And this is the 6th installment, the Nightwalker series. It's a paranormal romance written in like the early 2000s. So there's a lot of issues with it, but it was free on Audible, so I thought I'd pick it up and listen to it since it's Halloween spooky season. And we're following Adam, who is the elder brother of Jacob from the very first book. And his daughter Leah goes back in time. Time travel. Fuck yeah. And Jasmine, my favorite. So far, it's not horrible. I'm just going to be honest. It's not the worst. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'm still enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. It's a quick read. So quick listening anyway. But that is what I did in week 41. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And sorry for all the beeping interruptions. I know you normally don't ever see that in my videos. But that's my real life. Like, I don't edit. I'm not going to edit it out. Just like I didn't. So yeah, that's my life. And that's what I've been reading. And that's how I read. I get interrupted all the time, guys. So I will see you guys all soon with another video. Till then, stay spooky.